But it was just like I said, with this town is so crazy that if you go down there by yourself, you can get caught up in the web. You know what I'm saying? Of just destroying yourself. And the
Are
town,
you talking about being black and by yourself, or just in
yeah.
general?
No, being you don't even literally have to be black. If you just go down there and you by yourself, you can
Yeah.
get caught up in the web. Period. No matter what race you are,
Okay.
because yeah, it's not even about race. You can be white and be from a whole nother place and go down there and still get targeted. You know what I'm saying? Because you're white and you have an education, you could still go down there and get targeted. You know. So like what it was like we went down to this little social bar, hanging out, blah blah blah. One of the guys that were caught up in the web, did some things to where like it required police action involved. So the police came. We was fresh out. We only been out there for like a week. We still had our New York plates and everything on our cars and stuff like that. So they already targeted us as to be some New York gang or
Yeah.
something like that. So they was all in our cars searching underneath the hoods and they was just everywhere. But it was a SUV, so they was all in everything. So from that one night of scenarios, and then they couldn't find no warrants or nothing because everybody records was clean. You know what I'm saying? So there was nothing on us they can use to track, to have us sitting in their prison and this, that, and third.
Yeah.
So it was
Exactly.
like once that started, they was like more, okay, who are these people? Why are all these New Yorkers are coming out here? Are they all connected? So basically, what we had to do, being that we knew that everybody else was caught up into that whole Uniontown spell, we had to back ourselves away from those New Yorkers that were down there. You know what I'm saying? So we pulled ourselves back from them also. So we didn't hang around them either. But then like it was coming to a point where like certain scenarios started to play out, and it was like every time we went to court, they wanted money out of us. It was money. We was paying $500 in fines for this, $600 in fines for that. It was like whatever it is, they was fining us for. So then that's when we realized, okay, that's their hustle. They don't care if you innocent or guilty. They just want you to pay the fine.
Yeah. The courts are. I'm telling you, man. The courts are not. They're kangaroo courts, and they're not there for your interest. They're
No,
there to
not the
generate money.
courts. It was the magistrates. You had to have a real serious situation to actually go to a court. But if some normal shit like that, they fine you. They send you straight to the magistrate, and the magistrates was racist already because you was already guilty before you even walked into the building. Because they say, okay, they plead you guilty, have you plead guilty, and just find you. And that's how a lot of people from the town was in and out of jail. That was another thing that was going on out there too. People were in and out of jail constantly. Now in New York, you go to jail like 3 or 4 times. That's it. You're in there for a long stretch of time. But down here, you could be, if you're from the town. I can't say that if you're from out of the town and doing that. I don't think you could do that. But if you're from that town, you could be in and out of jail left and right. It's like going to a party, going to the store, going to the party, going to the store, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was crazy how people were in and out of jail down there. You know what I mean? So it was like once we saw the pattern, we pulled a okey doke threw our own little fastball. We threw our own monkey wrench into their pattern. Once we threw our monkey wrench in that pattern, we destroyed the whole machine. And when I said it was a chain reaction, it was a chain reaction. They had us in court one day, and we already dealt with him. Same magistrate. We already knew what the outcome was going to be. But this time, I brung a recorder into the courthouse, into the magistrate.
Okay. Okay.
Recorded the whole process. Went home, pulled the audio off the cell phone, threw it on the video. I was already at it because the station was like, it was still in the works. It was active, but it wasn't how it is now. So what I did was I pulled the audio off, threw it to had me, my wife, her homegirl, and one of my homeboys narrate what went down before we let the people listen to the audio. So we told the story before the story. So then once we finished saying what we were saying, we played the audio. And with my slick stuff, I took a picture of the magistrate building for the people in the town to know exactly which building I'm talking about. So once we put that video up on YouTube, 1 week later, my home crib was raided.
Wow.
They raided the whole spot. They took everything that had a hard drive, even down to the kids' PlayStations.
Wow.
They took everything. They took my computers, my PlayStation, the kids' PlayStation, every cell phone in sight, every camera in sight, all the laptops, I mean, they even took the Piff Inc. TV banner. Word. They even took the banner, dogs. It was bananas. So it was
what
like,
what was their justification at the time? Like, what did they say? Like when they
no,
raided you?
they didn't have nothing to say. It was like that magistrate knew that the evidence that we had on them was going to have people looking
Ah,
down on that. So
okay.
whatever it is, they was just so, and this is what I mean by stupid. They were so stupid that the footage that they wanted was on a scan disc that they had. But they figure like this, okay, instead of us just looking for it, let's just take it all and just throw it in storage, not knowing that we are going to get this stuff back. They
Yeah.
never erased the file. When I looked in the scan disc, the footage was still there, the audio was still there, everything was still there. But me being crafty, what I did was they figured like, okay, they raided the house, da da da. What I did was I went to a friend's house. Shout outs to the homie Carl. I went to his house, went to YouTube, and that was at the time when YouTube you can download the video directly from YouTube. And I downloaded both videos because we did two. Me and my boy did a copy, and my wife and her homegirl did a version. You know what I'm saying? So I downloaded them both, put them back on a scan disc, and that was my extra copies.
Okay.
So it was like, ever since then, the magistrate did not even want us in his building. It's like, yeah, we was public enemy number one.
Of course.
And
Of
then that
course.
was the thing. It set it when I mean it set off a chain reaction. Investigations started to pile up. The judge, like, it was like different judges getting pulled off out of the seat. Cops was getting laid off because they were part of that whole schematics. It was, I mean, a chain reaction. And like my mother would always tell me to be careful because they like what I just did could have them out to kill me. It was that crazy that they was like, if they wanted to, they could have killed us. They could have kicked in our door and killed everybody in that house just to hide that evidence.
Yeah, and got away with it too.
And exactly, because
Yeah.
a cop killed another cop. They was having an affair. Cop was having an affair with another cop. They killed the husband, and the judge that I said they pulled her off of there because of that investigation. She was the one who covered that case up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, her name was Nancy Vernon. She covered that case up. And during our little scenario, which got everything under investigation, she managed to lose her spot in as far as the judge was concerned.
So is she still a judge or?
Right now I really can't say. Cause I remember when she was running for judge. We had just got out there. She was running for judge at the time. And she actually came to our door and was conversating with us, not knowing that one day our little scenario would move her out of that seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, see how the future holds. Like,
Yeah.
if you going to people with an honest hand, and then when you get their help, and then you start doing negative, it's gonna be that same person with that you went to with that honest hand and take you from that special place you in. You
So
know what I
true,
mean?
man.
And
That's
that's
so
basically what
true.
happened. And then before you know it, we was down in Uniontown for about 7 years. They had all the equipment and everything for at least about 2 years, 3 years maybe. Afterwards, we had a couple of other run-ins, with the locals, which the cops was trying to side up with them. Okay, we could get them now. We can get them. But obviously it didn't play out in their hand either in those scenarios also, because footage never lies.
Exactly.
In certain places they had cameras too. Luckily, these events took place where people can see and there were cameras around. Because if it wasn't, it probably wouldn't have been the same way for us. One scenario where we got into it with a dude in the Sunoco gas station. That you know what the cops did? They took the audio out of the video
Ah,
and
okay,
brung it to
okay. Did
court.
did it dirty, yeah.
But you can tell from the body motion in the video who started that.
Well, the cops, you know what it is. The cops are like gremlins to water, right? Like you throw some water on them, and what I mean by that is like you got a camera, and they start shying away, and it's like you turn into Satan to them type thing
Mm-hmm.
because they're scared to be held accountable for anything. Like even when like you listen to them on the radios and shit, like it's always like they got these little code names and stuff. Like they avoid every time to try and give you who they are. It's like they always avoid that shit because they know that they're here, and like they're not protecting and serving no more. Like these checkpoints and all this bullshit going on, that ain't protecting and serving. That's just raising revenue. It's extracting benefits and privileges. Because you get a little tick on your driver's license, and sure enough, they're gonna revoke your driver's license or suspend you. Like they'll hold you hostage basically until you pay a fine that, 9 out of 10 times you didn't harm nobody to get that fine.
Right.
You just broke a rule, right? So it's like the system's totally turned around now. Like it used to be like the cops were them good guys who they get the little kitten out the tree and blah blah blah. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And nowadays it's like they're putting notches on their belt who they can kill or who they can maim or
So they could go back and just like that when they killed Mike Brown, and you see that lodge, they made that whole killing Mike Brown song, and at that lodge of racist cops and judges and lawyers and whatever they was playing, they had the dude performing the song about killing Mike Brown.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They celebrate killing black folks all the time in
Well,
them little
look at Eric
lodges and
Garner.
yeah.
Look at Eric Garner. What were them T-shirts they made? Breathe
I
easy,
can't, yeah, I
obey the
can
law.
breathe and all that shit. I can't breathe type shit. So yeah, that shit was just, that was a celebration that they took one of us out.
That's crazy, man. And like it could be you tomorrow, man. That's what people don't realize. Like that could be you tomorrow.
That's why it's best if you're gonna have a phone with you, make sure you don't got one of them cheap ass phones where you can record a visual but you can't get the audio because it don't record audio. Get you a decent phone and always keep that battery charged because you never know when you're gonna walk into your own scenario.
So getting back to the whole Uniontown thing, right? Like, so what was the outcome? You obviously you moved out of that town, right?
Yeah,
Because
after we won everything, every battle we went to, we dealt with, we won all those battles. We had to kick out money on them, for fines and stuff like that. They was like, okay, you can win this, but you still got to pay the fines. I even actually got into a scenario with one of the cops down there, and when we was in the court, he was like, "Yo, I want to call a truce," because he said he don't. I guess he was scared of me, like literally scared of me, and he was like, "Yo, because every time we see each other, you giving me this look in the face like you want to attack me and all this stuff." And he tried to say vice versa, like he's looking at me, but I'm not worried about his look. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about him because I heard about him. I'm like, yeah, he's a big punk. He's just hiding behind the badge, so I'm not really intimidated behind this guy. But being that he don't know the type of mentality I am, and to them, New Yorkers are dangerous. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? They shoot first. They see TV. We shooters. Everybody down there said, y'all New Yorkers are crazy. Y'all niggas love shooting people. So in their eyes, he thinking one day I may run up on him when nobody's around and kill him.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which that thought obviously crossed my mind numbers of times. But you know what I'm saying? I got a family and all that stuff. I can't just go out like that. You know what
No,
I
you're
mean?
you're pretty civilized. You're pretty civilized. We all have those thoughts of, what if, or if I could get away with something, what would I
Yeah.
go do,
And that's the
right?
and that's the thing. Like one of my neighbors told me, Fayette County, that's where Uniontown is in. If you wanted to do a murder and get away with it, go to Fayette County. And that was
That's
one of
how
my
it works.
neighbors. He's an old white guy. So he's seen the whole town grow. You know what I'm saying? From just this, that, and the third. And he saw the town grow to where racism wasn't a big deal out there anymore. You know what I mean? So he told me. He knew everybody, all the judges, all the lawyers, everybody's parents, this, that, and the third. And me and him would sit outside at nights and just talk. That's how I was able to learn so much about the town. And with the missus being in the libraries a lot, picking up books and stuff about the town. So like we already got our crash course in Uniontown and any other small town like that. So no matter where we go, we already know how to deal with these small-minded, small town people. Because the first thing they're gonna do, they're gonna look at us like we're better than them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we're not better than you. We just had more advantages than you did. But we're
Yeah,
all the same. We bleed the same blood.
but when you see, you got to understand though, when you're from a bigger city, say like New York, and especially you come from Bed-Stuy, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, like that's the jungle of jungles. Like when you go to a place like Uniontown, like that's a resort vacation spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until you start intermingling with the locals who they can't see past your skin.
Exactly.
But if they could see past your skin, then yeah, that's a resort. That's a vacation retirement place type thing.
Yeah, you go there, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like there was like, and when I left New York City, New York was crazy to a point where you couldn't sit outside and have a beer without getting fined, getting harassed, or possibly getting locked up. It wasn't safe to smoke your blunts and stuff. Like we grew up in the projects, and like in order for police to come in our backyard, something had to happen. Or somebody called the police and said something is going on that shouldn't be going on because there's kids or whatever running through there. That would be the only time the police would ever come in our backyards. But now it was to a point where like they were just coming back there like they lived in the projects also. So it's like it wasn't even safe to even enjoy yourself. So when we left New York City, right before niggas started killing cops started killing people like it was fun. You know what I'm saying? We left right before that. You know what I'm saying? So we left at a good moment. And just to come into Uniontown and get our relax on, not to go to Uniontown and have to deal with racist cops and ignorant ass motherfuckers from the town. You know what I mean? So what we had to do was extend our New York hand down on a lot of these people and let y'all know, look, nigga, because we here don't mean you can do this and don't mean you can get away with that, because we gonna give you that lashing that your parents and somebody should have gave you.
Exactly.
Simple and plain as that. Like I told you earlier, it was a lot of I didn't only have wars with police down there. I had war with regular everyday folks down there. When I was going through my trial, they was trying to give me 6 to 12 years for attempt murder. And my shit, luckily there was one black lady in the juror, and she was the one running the show. But due to the fact that the dude that I was involved with was a knucklehead, he's always in and out of prison, that helped also. So I was able to walk from that case, which it cost me about $7,000 to deal with it, because I had to get bailed out, which was like 30 something, 3,500 something. Then I had to get the lawyer, which was like $5,000. You know what I'm saying? So it cost me about $5,000 for my freedom. So basically, I paid to stay out of prison. That's how I looked at it.
That's crazy. When in reality, you're just down there minding your business.
Basically.
Doing your DJ gig, trying to get the station up and running. And it's like, that they're always trying to keep a brother down like that, It's like, if we can't get him on some warrants or something, some violation, then we'll manufacture something to get
make up whatever.
Yeah. Or we'll give him that reaction. Like we'll do something, he'll do a reaction to it, and now we'll get you, type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's how they always be
doing that. And it's like, like up here in Canada, it's the same way. It's like you guys experience the same stuff. It's just more of it, and it's more frequent because there's more people down in America, right?
Yeah.
but it's the same mentality as soon as you cross the border. And like I tell a lot of my American friends, I say, you know what the difference between Canada and America is? A fence, aka a border, and about 300 million people. That's it. You know,
Yeah.
and the cold, but you get snow right in New York, you get snow in Boston, all them places. But it's just the amount of population that separates us.
Yeah, because the laws and stuff is still the same.
Pretty much, yeah. Like our gun law is a little different than yours. Like,
Nah, and see, and that was another thing in Pennsylvania. See, in New York, if you don't own a store and you don't own no business or have a home, you're not allowed to own a gun. That's in New York. But in Pennsylvania, you can be a average Joe and have a gun. There's guns that like assault rifles, shotguns, and things you don't even need a license for. You can go to the store and buy you an automatic pump shotgun and walk out with it walk it in the streets, all out in the opening. You can
that's
carry
crazy.
the gun right from out of the store into your car and drive home with it.
But that's in your constitution. That's your
Yeah,
constitutional right, right?
but the only thing about it, like handguns, you need license for. But anything assault, da da da, you don't need a license for. But that's the thing. When they raided my home, they took my guns, they took all the equipment and everything. They took my 20 gauge, and that was my baby right there. I was upset. You know what I'm saying? They took the 350. No, they took the 38. No, it wasn't a no. It was a 380, and they took a gun which was stuffed, so you can't even use it no more. They took that.
With all your equipment and everything.
Yeah,
Did you end up getting all that stuff
yeah.
back though?
Right when we moved, a week later, they was giving us the runaround for at least about 2 weeks because the detective that was on the case, they was saying, "Oh, he's on vacation. He's on vacation." So they was giving us the runaround. But that was a glorious moment. I wish I could have recorded it and everything and rubbed it in their face. But I knew they'd have probably tried some fuckery. So they came to me. They was like, "Okay, look, we in the precinct. So me and the missus are sitting there." And we waiting on the detective to come out. So he said, okay, whatever the scenario is now, we already know I can't get the guns back. You know what I'm saying? I would have had to go through a whole nother court trial, da da da, to get the guns back. So that wasn't really important. It was everything else that was important. You know what I'm saying? Because there was music that I had that we recorded, and a lot of the music that I had for the station and everything, and computers and all that other stuff, and the kids stuff, all that stuff was important because the kids was miserable because their PlayStation, both of them had PlayStation 3s. It was like their laptops, everything that was important to them, being at their kids, they didn't have access to no more because of that scenario. So that scenario kind of like it tore a wedge between me and my kids, but they understood as I explained it to them. You
Yeah.
know, I explained it to them the rights value around that whole to the whole story.
Yeah, the
So then they
principle.
understood.
Principle of it, yeah. Yeah.
But
You
then, like
always
when we went to get it, they brung it out. They had all the cops. All the cops were there for this moment because this was probably the first time this ever happened.
Yeah.
And they had to bring out all the boxes, and they had to jot down everything that was on the list, make sure everything was there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here with one of the computers now that they had is sitting right here, right next to me.
So they didn't give you back the guns, but they
They
gave you.
gave everything else back.
And what was their justification for keeping the guns though?
They told me because I didn't purchase them. I don't have receipts that I brought them.
Yeah, but who? If you've had something for years, like you never keep the receipt, man. You know
That was
what
the
I mean?
only thing they can get away with still.
See,
You know
that's
what I mean?
crazy.
Yeah, that was some bullshit. But like I said, the guns could be replaced. It was all that other stuff. A lot of that stuff was gifts from the grandparents and things like that the
Yeah.
kids had. That was, like I said, that would have been more important than the guns.
So did you move from Uniontown specifically because of that incident? Like,
We moved because it was closer to the missus school because she goes to Seton Hill. So it was closer to there. And besides, like with the whole ruckus, we done blew a lot of money dealing with Uniontown. You know what I'm saying? All that money could have went for something else. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And we blew a lot of money in Uniontown. I say like in the course of the years we were there, we blew over a couple of $100,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, between just BSing around and dealing with fines and court fees and all that silly shit, and lawyers and bail bondsmen and shit. Yeah.
Plus,
And then I lost my father down there. That was another thing. He died down there visiting us. You know what I'm
wow.
saying? So it was like a lot of bad, negative shit going around and around us down there. So it was like spiritually we had to leave. Because
Yeah.
whatever it is was coming to an end, or of our good luck streak was coming to an end. So we got out of there before, yeah, anything could happen. And the day we went back out to Uniontown, just for the hell of it, you can see that things were different. The block that we lived on, like the people we hung around, it was like, yo, it ain't been the same since y'all left.
Hmm.
The spirit died when y'all left.
Yeah. Right back to the same old before you came there type shit.
Yeah, they was like, no one comes out on the porches no more. It's like it's dead. Like when y'all left, y'all took a big piece of that block with y'all.
Well, that was the whole intention. They got threatened that you were threatening their way of life. You know what I mean? Like,
All we was doing was showing these people that they do have rights. And that recording that court case was a clear sign of letting them know that y'all can do this, because there was no laws stating, there was no papers on the wall or nothing that you couldn't bring an audio device or a camera in the magistrate and record the whole case, your whole case. But I bet you they probably got one in there now.
yeah, of course
You
you
know
do.
what I'm saying? They probably got one in there now and
So,
letting them
so
know that,
hey,
okay,
do you have that clip online somewhere?
it's still on
Like,
YouTube.
so what would people search up? Like, if they were wanted to look,
If they go to YouTube, type in Michael M. Mitros,
and that'll come up.
it'll come up,
Okay,
because it's going to be
that's
two videos, one with me and my boy, and one with the missus and her homegirl.
well,
And
that's just for the listeners, right? I think
yeah,
I've actually peeped that video a long, long time ago, though.
yeah, that's how long it's been up there.
Yeah, yeah. So all in all, your spirits are up, even though the quote unquote the devil's trying to always hold you down.
Yeah,
Your spirits are up, and like like it's hard when you go through something. It's hard to unlearn that. Do you know what I mean? Like once you've been through that racism, and like you're scarred for life. Like people
yeah,
don't
you got a
like they
point
don't
there.
realize what they're doing to you when they're sending you through all of those avenues that really, if you just leave me alone, I'll leave you alone type shit, right?
Yeah,
Like you can't unlearn that. Like you can't unfeel those feelings. You know what I'm saying?
because right now white people cannot walk up near me no more, because I might punch one of them in the mouth. Like for real, just off of GP. Like, because I don't trust you now. I really don't trust you.
Well,
I
I'll
didn't
tell you.
have a
I'll tell
reason
you.
to.
In all fairness, they're not all bad. I think they're just they misunderstand a lot, especially when it comes to other cultures. And the first mistake the like quote unquote white people make is they don't realize that they're a culture and they're a popular culture, right? So when they're looking at everybody else is a culture, but when the tables turn on them, they don't feel like they're a culture.
Or they're responsible for whatever, for their actions.
Well, that too, but that's on a whole nother level. That's just accountability, and they're just taught as those type of people. Like we already discussed this earlier, and it's like like white people are different when they're around each other, right? But when a
Hmm.
brother comes around, the brother spools what I call is the nigger party, because now they have to watch what they say. They can't come off looking racist, blah 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 blah, all due to shame, right?
Hmm.
But when they're around themselves, and it's a little easier for them to talk about us, if you will.
And
So
like,
it's like they're the only culture on the planet, I think, that is so worried about race. Because I've been in situations where I've been around, say, I have one white friend and like eight of us brothers are sitting around, right? And the fact that he's white never, ever, ever comes up. Like, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? He's down with us. He's down with us. It ain't a color issue. But I've been in a situation where I've hung out with say, a white friend and all his white friends, and I can feel that I'm black. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like they got to start learning that they have a race problem, not us. And they'll be like, oh well, black people are racist too, and blah blah blah. But racism is systemic, and racism comes from having power. Like there's a difference between being racist and being a bigot or somebody who stereotypes other
Or
people.
someone that just don't know what they say or know what they think. There's
Yeah,
a big
exactly.
difference.
Exactly. But racism is like the cops can be racist because they have power. The school can be racist. The government can be racist. You get what I'm saying? They can use who you are. Like they can use that power to stop a black guy from living his life. You know what I'm saying? But like fucking Billy Bob down the street, he don't like black people, but he got no power. You know what I'm saying? So I look at Billy Bob as he's just a bigot and he just misses out on everything in life anyway,
And he
right?
don't know any better.
Exactly, exactly. It's usually due to the upbringing, or they have these situations where this black person did this to me, so now I hate them all, type thing. You know what I mean?
And it don't even be like that.
I know, I know, I know. Because if you actually are aware and you've been around black people, we're very culturally different from white people, but at the same token, we have the same needs and wants as everybody else.
Yeah, the needs and wants are still the same. Yeah.
Like I want to have a family. I want to have children. I want to have a dog. I want to have a house. You get what I'm saying? And I
Hmm.
want to have some good loyal friends. And it's like they don't see us like in the human form. They look at us as creatures or monkeys or monsters. Right? And it's like if they could just see past that and see the human in us, like there's a lot of good brothers I know. You
And
know?
like I can say, like I said, with the whole white race, there was a lot of decent white folks down there, and there was a lot of they would consider B class white folks down there that were actually decent, like funny. They were cool and everything. But like I said, the way that town is built, they're built on destruction. So most of the white folks down there, they are drunk all the time. They're high all the time. You know what I'm saying? So you don't never see these people in their real life because every time you come outside, they already drunk. Because these people, they go to bars at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And for an average person like a nigga from New York like myself, 7 o'clock in the morning, we're just getting up to get ready to go to work. We're not thinking about drinking. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? At some 7 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning. Even the local thug hanging on the corner ain't thinking about drinking at 7 o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That town is spiritually destroyed. And anybody who gets caught up in that web down there gets caught in the system. And the only thing, like, with this one dude, like I said, the dude that got us recognized by the police, because we was off the radar until to that one night. I I've seen him. I knew him in New York. I've been around him a couple of times, but not enough to know his way of life. But when I saw him in Uniontown, it was a whole different individual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And that was the thing. And they practice conquer and destroy down there. You know what I'm saying? So like you could be down there with a friend, they'll try to turn your friend against you. You know what I'm saying? Or your loved one against you. They practice that shit.
that's
And they
crazy.
know it real well. Because they
Well,
do it
sure.
to each other all the time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm sure that comes with years of experience of just being in that situation, right?
Yeah. And that's
And
the thing. A lot of
they,
people
it's
and
probably to the point where they don't even realize they do it to each other.
exactly.
You
And
know?
there's a lot of Kevin Gates down there. Like niggas having, because like, okay, this is one thing that me and the missus both bugged out about. Everybody is related. Okay, if you got a town of say 9,000 people or a little more over, how is everyone related? But everybody out here fucking each other.
Yeah, true.
So there's a lot of Kevin Gates running around there. It's like, for real.
You be doing your cousin and don't even know it.
No, they know it. They just don't care.
But that's in every little small community I find.
See, I can't say that because I've been out of town. This is not my first run into like out of town. I've been to Delaware. I've been to North Carolina. I've been to South Carolina. I've been to Syracuse. I've been to like different places. I never saw that until I came to Uniontown.
Well, maybe what really is the problem is they're down there. They're missing a chromosome, man. Maybe they lack
something
that
in the water.
XY chromosome. Maybe they got an extra one or something.
And no, the lady at the water company said that this town has been drinking third world water. They got third world water down there. So I say it might be something in the water.
It just might be, man. They put a lot of shit in the water nowadays.
And them people, and like I said, that town was a drug town. So all the kids that are running around there now are guaranteed crack babies.
Wow.
Because every parent that's out there were on drugs, guaranteed.
That's crazy, man.
Like a friend of mine's, he was from New York, but he was out there, and he used to always say, yo, and he was younger than me, he used to say, yo, everybody out here on crack. He said the whole town on crack. He said everybody on crack. I was like, nah. But then as you look at the scenario, everybody's is like their brain don't react the same way as everybody else's, like outside of that town. So then you really start to think, yeah, maybe everybody is on crack down in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Word.
Well, it's funny. Me and my woman, we had a conversation one time, right? Because we kind of moved. Like I grew up in basically the heart of my city, right? So like I'm kind of like an inner city minority, right? So I've faced all of that adversity, if you will. And it's like we moved up kind of out of the city. We're still in the city, but we're kind of out further. And it's like if you want to know, like say you're moving to a place, right? And like you want to get to know what the town or the city's like. All you got to do is you go to the local grocery store. You know what I'm saying? And you just watch. And you'll see what that part of the city or that town, or you get what I'm saying? Because like they'll bring all their family with them to get groceries. You just go out and look at them, and you'll know what you're getting into. You know what I mean? I know it's kind of crazy to think like that, but I'm telling you, try it sometime. It really does work. You know?
Yeah, you ain't lying. Yeah.
Because they all got to go to the grocery store, right? And usually in them little towns, it's like the whole family goes out to get groceries and shit.
Like a field trip.
Yeah, and I'm probably stereotyping, but
no, you're not.
That's just been my experience. Like, if you really want to see what, say you move to some foreign place, just go to the market, and that'll tell you basically what you're getting into. Look wise, like, if they look kind of half retarded, how they dress, how they walk, how they handle themselves,
Mm-hmm.
like you'll see that all at the local market, anywhere you go. So
and that's the thing, like they wasn't raised correctly, because how do you go on a job interview dressed in pajama pants and a dirty ass wife beater? Like, who does that? But then they look at us like we the smarty aunt motherfuckers. But no, it's just because of the area we were raised in. We was raised to carry ourselves with standards and things like that. We wasn't raised to walk around like whatever. Everything was whatever with them. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. That's all it was with them.
Yeah, well, especially in New York, it's like you're raised with the supreme, like a competitive standard to the ultimate supreme. You know what I mean? Like you got a class, if you will. Down there, it's like everybody's trashy. I'm not just saying Uniontown, but I just mean the Union towns of the world. It's like everybody gets gets on like this standard where it could be trashy, it could be trailer trash, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? You see it
Hmm.
all the time, and it's like, you come along and you're dressing nice, you're talking, you're articulating yourself properly,
You're
and
using words that they ain't never heard
yeah, like
before.
like people despise smart people, especially if you wish you were smart type thing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Because like I
So
would sit in the bar and talk to these white folks and be telling them things, and and you can see the look in their face like they really did not know this.
yeah.
And I was like, wow. I actually, it was to a point where I actually was in the bar with the mayor. Me and the mayor sitting there having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? I could have ran for mayor. I did post that up on Facebook. Like this, by the second year I was out there, I was thinking about running for mayor. Like, I can actually win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Word. And I was like, yo, niggas just don't get it. Like, there's a lot of opportunity down there. If you're a real smart dude, you can go down there and take over. Just like you
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
like
but
10
you'd have to
families.
battle. You'd have to battle for that takeover.
Yeah, but like you said, 10 families moved down there. A lot of people going to be moving away. Before you know it, that town is yours.
Well, hey, it's a science experiment, but I tell you, I live by that. If you want to destroy a white community, you go move in it, and you move in 10 of your most blackest friends, and people will
The real
start moving out.
niggas.
You know what I mean? People will start moving out real quick, because they like us, but that's why they
They
move out
like
in the
us from a
suburbs.
distance.
Yeah, that's why they move out in the suburbs or out to the little towns, right? Because they like us, but they really only want to see us on TV. You know what I mean?
And then like some white people like, oh, I got black friends, but then as soon as you get mad at somebody, they be like, fucking nigger.
Yeah,
I'm like, ooh, you really stabbed me in the heart. Ooh, you called
yeah.
me a nigga. Ooh.
Like
That's
like
how I
you're
look at them.
yeah, like you're the first person to ever say that to me. I'm so upset right now.
Yeah,
I
I'm ready
better
to
just
just
stop
slice my
everything I'm
throat.
doing and focus on that, right?
Right, it's some real. I'm telling you, like, if for those that never been out of their comfort zone, the world is big, and you're gonna see a lot of crazy shit in it. Believe that.
Yeah, no doubt. And like you're gonna see, if you get out in the world, you're gonna see that, especially on like when white people, they look at themselves, they think they're the majority, but if you get out in the world, you're gonna see, man, there's more Asians on the planet than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna see a lot of Indonesians, you're gonna see a lot of Indians. Like these are the majority of the world, man. And it's like they're everywhere. And the more and more you get out and see the world, the less likely you're gonna like sit at home calling people niggers and this and that and stereotyping that person, calling dude packy. Like once you get out and see it, it's like you either fit in or you go sit in your corner and cry or do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, it racism is still alive and well, and
You just got to know how to deal with it.
exactly,
You
exactly,
can deal with it with more ignorance, or you could deal with it with the hand of God, and just go on from there.
well, it's definitely been interesting, Trap Jesus, and
Oh, I just got a message, and they said to tell you that um, it says small town residents be looking dirty and like they don't love themselves.
I mean, I hate to sit here and shit on them and stuff because we should embrace them because they're lost souls, right? And I always preach team human being, right? Like I'm for anybody who's trying to make a life for themselves and not harm anybody in the process, right? I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't care you want to harm yourself. That's on you, right? You have the decision whether you want to go jump off a bridge or not. Like that's totally on you.
Yep.
But don't take other people over the bridge just because you don't like their skin color. Don't take people over the bridge because they're smarter than you, or you know what I'm saying, for some like frivolous reason, right?
Hmm.
So what I would say is, like try to love more. Try to love more. Like there's a lot of things we can hate about ourselves, and hate about each other, but we're more connected than people realize. And the sooner we get back on that wavelength where we can connect and get free and start living the way we all should be living, not under this government tyranny and all this fucking let's go to war now, let's go to war here, let's go to war. You know what I'm saying? Like get that war off your mind and get some love in your heart. And
Right? Walk up to a complete
that's kind of
stranger.
my message to the world is, more love, less hate. But, that's on you at the end of the day.
Yep, walk up to a complete stranger and just give them a hug. It may
Exactly.
bug them out the rest of the way home, but then they realize it later. It was like, oh, okay, now I get it. It's
Exactly.
like giving a rose to the living. You know what I'm
And,
saying?
you see them guys who've been racist their whole life, and then they have that kind of light bulb moment, and they come around, and like they're like, like they're inspirational now, and it's just weird. It's weird that more people wouldn't just take on board the fact that you're not here alone. You can play it in your white world or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can play it in your world, but soon as you leave your bubble, leave all that shit in your bubble because we're all out here, and you got to either accept us or go kill yourself. That's the bottom line. We're not going away, right? And the sooner the better we can excel and get together as brothers and sisters and stop crab mentality, stop being the crab in the bucket, stepping on each other, and start uplifting each other and trying to help each other out the bucket. You know what I mean?
That's right. Each one teach one.
And so what I would say is, yeah, it's been interesting, Trap Jesus.
Yeah, man.
Like it was good to finally meet the man behind the monitor, if you will. Like I know you, but I know a lot of people who listen to you and support you. I know they don't know you, right?
Basically.
So it's definitely it was pretty good. Look for the upcoming shows. We're gonna do some stuff on some real issues. If you have any issues or you want to be part of the show, what I would say is blast them with the email right quick there, Trap Jesus.
They can hit me up at the email, but they can also, because a lot of these people have the fan page, they are subscribed to the fan page, so you could just send me a message on the fan page and share your story, and we can make you part of the next show. You know what I'm
Yeah, you're
saying?
welcome to call in at any time. You can call in and talk to Trap Jesus yourself at the 305 number. And yeah, just keep an eye out for us because we're gonna format the show so that it turns into maybe like a roundtable discussion. We'll bring some issues to the table, uh, and everybody's invited.
Yep, every Monday night, 11:30.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Everybody's invited. So we welcome to join you're welcome to join us at any time. Call in, send us emails, even if you got show ideas, you want, like maybe some subjects you want to talk on, maybe you got some personal experiences yourself. We want to hear about it. It makes us all a better person to know that, the more human we appear to each other, the better we can become.
True.
And I think I'll leave him with that. I'd like to make a couple shout outs. Shout out my boy King Suddy out in Edmonton. Shout out my little bro Caleb Simmons. He was that song at the beginning of the show that was called Denied. Look out for that video. It's coming soon. And shout out to my boy Jason J. He's a graphics king.
Right, right. And shout out to my boy Mach Moses, $3. Everybody listening in to the sound of our voices. It is what it is, man.
Peace.
$1.